Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Tuesday, August 20th, 2019. So we're going to do a video today. I got my whole big old list here. And I only put it into this many because I could continue to go on and on with this, okay? But I'm doing 30 items you should hoard as a prepper right now, okay? There's 30 different things on here that I think are really, really important. So obviously we're not going to be talking about foods, guns and ammo. We're not going to talk about those. Those are a given. So we're going to talk, or water obviously, but we're going to talk about, we're talk about water a little bit, but we're going to talk about things that you should be hoarding right now, okay? So before I get started in this topic, as many of you know, today was the day that I moved my daughter into her college campus, and she's going to be living on campus. So it's kind of a sad day and a happy day at the same time. I'm really, really happy for her, and she's going on with the next part of her life, but it's still sad as a parent to see your child go. And so got her moved in there, and I know she's very excited and nervous at the same time, but I know she's going to do fantastic. Okay, so just wanted to get that out of there. Okay, so we're going to go right in. I got my pen so I can mark these off as I talk about them, okay? So we're going to just go over this list, and we're going to talk about these different things. These are 30 different things that you need to be stocking up on as a prepper. And when I say stocking up on, I'm talking hoarding. Add as much of these as you possibly can. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is tarps. Okay, so tarps are really, really important. As you can see, I have tarps behind me on top of my wood pile. You can use them for that. You can use them for shelter. You can use them on the ground if you're having to bug out. If you have it in your bug out bag, you know, having a tarp to either use for an overhead shelter to keep the weather off you, or on the ground to keep, you know, that moisture from coming up through the ground, or that cold coming up through the ground. So there's a lot of different uses for tarps, but tarps would be one of the things. Okay. Number two, I'm going to say, is going to be duct tape. Duct tape is going to be really, really important. Now, my favorite duct tape to use, guys, is Gorilla Tape. Okay, that stuff is kick butt. A great thing to have. You know, even if it's not an SHTF situation. But duct tape, I mean, if you can have 5-6 rolls of duct tape sitting aside, just there for that emergency situation, believe me, you will use them when the time comes. So it's definitely something you should be hoarding away, okay? So now we're going to talk about lights, okay? So when I talk about lights, we're going to go like a couple different things. So we're going to talk about one set of lights, and we're going to talk about a couple different things later. But what we're going to talk about right now is flashlights. Or you know, headlamps. Okay, those are going to be your first things that we're going to talk about. You know, as far as making sure you have enough, you know, flashlights and headlamps, because you're going to be able to see what you're doing when you get out there. And if there's no other light around, headlamps and, you know, flashlights are going to be really, really important. So of course, what goes along with flashlights and headlamps and all that stuff? You got it, batteries, okay? So that's going to be the next thing we're going to talk about. Batteries are going to be really, really huge to have, so stock up on batteries. I mean, you can get the different packs of batteries that have like a 10-year shelf life. You can also get rechargeable batteries if you have a way that you could recharge your batteries. And they have the portable solar packs, or if you have, like what I have here, is I have my own solar system. So I like rechargeables. I have quite a few rechargeables, but I also have the other kind of batteries as well, because it's like I think it's good to have both kinds. Okay, so that would be another thing. The next thing we're going to talk about is propane. I don't think you can have enough propane on hand. As you guys, anybody that watches my channel knows, I have a 330-pound propane tank. Okay, I have that, and in literally a year, they come now only once a year to fill up my propane tank, because we don't use that much. So in a year, we basically, for us, for hot water, that's what we're using our propane for. I may use 60 gallons of propane in a year. So I have a 330-gallon tank, but I also have the little 1-pounders, and I also have like the 20-pound tanks, you know, that you're going to use for your gas grills and stuff like that. So I have like 3 or 4 of those as well. So really good things to have. Now you can get the adapter so that you can refill your 1-pounders from a 30-pound tank. I would definitely recommend getting that as well. But you know, the more, you know, if you can pick up 100-pound tanks, okay, the more propane you have, you're going to definitely use it, so it's a good thing to have. So definitely get as much propane as you can. Realistically, the biggest expense is buying the tanks themselves. The propane is not that much money. So the more propane you can have, it's going to be better in the long run. Okay, so I'm going to lift my glasses up so I can see better. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is, now this is another form of lights, but we're going to talk about lanterns, oil lamps, okay, and stuff like that. So you're going to need, you know, like for your Coleman lanterns, your handheld lanterns, you want to definitely make sure that you're stocking up on those, have enough of those. Also make sure that you have enough lamp oil. Also make sure you have plenty of wicks on hand. Really, really important. And I know I have a tremendous amount of wicks. I mean, you guys, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you've seen that I have those things in abundance. Okay, I probably have 7 of the lanterns that I got at Walmart, but then I continue to buy the oil lamps, the old-fashioned kind. I get them whenever I can at garage sales. They're great to have, but you want to make sure that you have plenty of lamp oil as well to go along with that. And you can go with different types of lamp oil. It's all basically personal preference, but the more you have on hand, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so that would be the next thing. The next thing we're going to talk about is medical supplies. Okay, medical supplies, guys. You're going to have what you have in an SHTF situation, so get as much as you possibly can. You know, bandages, band-aids, splints, anything that's going to possibly help you in that type of a situation. Ace wraps, another great thing to have. But any kind of bandages, you know, and those type of things. Quick clot, all those type of stuff. Okay, so there's like, when it comes to medical supplies, you can do a whole bunch. We're going to talk about a couple other things specifically as far as medical supplies in this list of 30. But add to your medical supplies as much as you possibly can. All right. Another way, a light source that you're definitely going to want to add is going to be candles. Candles is going to be really, really important. They're really, really cheap. They're great to use. You can get a whole bunch of candles, and it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money. But when the time comes, again, it's another source of light. Okay. With candles, I also recommend they have. I've picked them up and I've showed them on video before. They have the 60-hour candles, so it's in a plastic container, and it's a liquid. And you just, well, no, I think they're 100-hour candles, I'm sorry. But it's got a wick in there already with it, and that liquid will burn for that 100 hours. You can also improvise as far as that, like with a can of Crisco, drop in a shoelace or some kind of a wick into there, and that's going to burn for a long, long time. Okay, so just another light source that you can use. But candles are a really, really important thing to have. The more candles, the merrier. Any kind of way you want to do it is, again, personal preference. But I definitely recommend having a lot of candles. Okay, so it's definitely something you want to hoard. Along with all those, your lanterns and your candles and stuff like that, you're going to want to have lighters and matches. Okay, I'll go out and I'll freaking look for the sales where they have, like, you know, a 30-pack of lighters. And I mean, it's a little overkill, I know. But again, when the time comes, you're going to have what you have. Now, I definitely believe in having regular strike matches as well. Okay, the wooden ones, matches in your matches pack. Also, your kind of matches that have strike anywhere matches. Those are great to have too. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're a great thing to have. But matches and lighters, guys, get as many as you can. And again, it's not that expensive right now. But if you got 30, 40 lighters, now again, what else can that be used for, guys? Think about it, okay? It's a barter item. So you're probably not going to need to have 30, 40 individual lighters, or, you know, 500 packs of matches or something. You know, I'm just giving an example. Those can be used as a barter item for people that are ill-prepared, that did not think about that. Maybe they have something that you need that you did not think about, but now you can trade them. Lighters or matches, going to be really, really valuable as a barter item. Okay. Uh, the next thing we're going to talk about is bleach. Bleach is a good thing to have. It's for cleaning up and stuff like that. But one of the things that I really like too is pool shock, because it can be used to treat water as well. Bleach can be used to purify water as well. But really, really good things to have. Um, you know, and it's got to be the unscented bleach. So if you're going to go with the bleach, you definitely want to go with the unscented bleach. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to definitely recommend that you guys have, and I've talked about this a lot, so it's going to be very familiar to the people that watch my channel, books on medical and edible plants for your area. Now, like, if I lived in Arizona, that book that I would have would be completely different than the book that I would have for New York State, okay? Because we have a completely different ecosystem here than what you would have in Arizona. So you want to look for your region of the country, wherever you are, for edible plants and medicinal plants in your area. I think that's really, really important. It's probably one of the most important things that you can have, because again, I've talked about this before, knowledge is power. So even if you're really not studying the books right now, have that information available to you, because that could be something that could absolutely save your life in a crisis situation. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about, going back to lights, we're going to talk about solar lights. Now, if you guys have ever seen those lights that you can get them at the dollar store, that you drive into the ground and it'll light up the path, and basically during the day the sun hits them, and then at night you have this lit up path for however many hours that it lasts, and it's a great light source. Well, you can take those, set them out in the sun all day long, and then at night bring them in, and there's another source of light that you can use. So those are really, really important as well. Okay. Again, other things that you can use, other solar power packs, those are good as well, because you can charge up things that you need to charge up. You don't have to have the huge solar system, but any kind of thing with like the solar packs that you can use to charge things up, I think that's going to be real, real important in an SHTF situation. Okay. Another thing is going to be, you're talking about, let's see, vinegar and baking soda. Okay. So vinegar and baking soda is going to be a really important things to have too, because they have so many different uses. It's going to be really, really important to have those type of things in that type of a situation. So definitely stock up on those things as well. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is paracord. Now, there's all kinds of different types of paracord you can get. Most common is like 550 paracord, so it means that it's a 550 pound strength limit. But you can get 1100 paracord. Now, that's going to be more expensive, but if you are thinking that you're going to really need that extra strength, it's a great thing to have. And a lot of the paracord, it's like they call it 7-strand paracord as well. So if you break it apart, you can break it down into 7 different strands. Okay, so that's very useful too. Great thing to have. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about, guys, is going to be garbage bags, and not just regular garbage bags, but you should definitely have those. You also, the important ones to have, honestly, are your contractor garbage bags, your heavy duty garbage bags. You can get them at like Lowe's or Home Depot and those type of places, and I think it comes in 40 in a box. Really, really good to have. Heavy, heavy duty. Can be used for a lot of things. I mean, you could use it to carry stuff if you had to do it that way too. But it's going to keep the weather off of stuff if you're trying to keep things dry. That contractor garbage bag is a way to go. Another thing, like when you go shopping, either at anywhere like Walmart, Wegmans, Save-A-Lot, Piggly Wiggly, Surefine, all those type of places, the little plastic bags that they give you to put your groceries in, save those too. Very, very helpful, can be useful in an SHTF situation. I have a ton of them. So those are really, really good to have. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is going to be socks. Now, wool socks are probably the absolute best socks you can get. They have a tendency to be more expensive. But if you're going to buy regular socks as well, I would highly, highly recommend that you get the kind that has the reinforced toe and the reinforced heel. Anybody that has socks, you guys know, we all have socks, obviously. Those are the spots that wear out first. So if you pay a little bit more money, don't buy the cheap stuff. I've done it, guys. I've bought the cheap stuff, they don't last, and it really pisses me off when all of a sudden I got a hole in the toe or the hole in the heel, and I got to get rid of that pair of socks. You know, go ahead and spend the extra money, get good quality, heavy-duty socks, and stock up on those too, because that's going to be worth their weight in gold as well. Another great barter item. So it's like, you know, you don't always want to barter ammunition and stuff like that because it can be used against you. But they're not going to use socks against you. But boy, they're going to want socks, okay? So again, another great barter item to have as well, but you should definitely be very, very stocked up on that as well, okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is can openers. Handheld can openers. Really, really important. Also, they have the P2P, I think is what it's called, and I'll show you. I keep one right on my keychain at all times. And maybe it's got the name of it on here. But yeah, it's just that little can opener. And these things are awesome. Works great. I can't remember the exact name of what they call them, but they're a great little can opener to have, and I always keep one with me. I'll just set them back down there on my keychain at all times, okay? So I think that's really, really important as well, okay? So definitely make sure that you have can openers, and the handheld can openers, and I'm not just talking about one or two, have 10 or 12, because you never know when they're going to break down if they're not made really, really well. Good things to have, okay? The next thing we're going to talk about having is going to be, there's something else that just popped into my mind, and I was going to tell you. Oh, okay. So another thing is plenty of knives. Make sure that you have, you know, have your Swiss Army knife. Great knife to have. You know, again, along with knives, if you want to go with a multi-tool, okay, that's another really good thing to have. But have a buck knife, have a skinning knife, you know, have a filleting knife for fish and stuff like that as well. All those different types of knives, really, really good to have. Stock up on those as well. Really, really important, okay? So the next thing we're going to talk about is salt. Now, salt is a really, really important thing to have. You need to have your iodine in your diet. A lot of salt has iodine in it. So, but if you're looking to do preserving food, your Himalayan salts are good salts to have for that, okay? But your iodized salt to flavor your food and stuff like that, it's going to give that iodine in your diet, which we need that. We don't get it any other, really, there's no natural way to get iodine. That's why they put it in salt. So that way you're going to avoid getting goiters and having those problems. So iodized salt, really good to have. I probably have like 150 pounds of iodized salt packed away, and I'm not kidding when I say that. I just kept putting away. Salt is so freaking cheap, guys. It's really, really easy to put that away, okay? So definitely, and again, if you're going to go for preserving meat, your Himalayan salts and stuff like that is the way to go. So get a whole bunch of that as well. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be seeds. Like your, and I'm going to probably say it wrong, heirloom seeds, okay? Those are the kind you want to get. You don't want to get the hybrid seeds because they don't reproduce. But the heirloom seeds definitely are good seeds to have because you can harvest your plants, harvest the seeds, and you have more seeds for the next growing season. Being able to grow a garden is going to be a huge, huge thing. I've talked about that a million times, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse by talking about that more, but you definitely need to have your seeds, okay? Now here's one too, and this is one that I think is real important, and I talked about this the other day. We did a group of us had gotten together and we're showing our bug out bags, okay? Another thing is rat traps. And I'm talking about mice, I'm talking about rat traps. They can be put up on a tree, put a little peanut butter on there, you can catch squirrels that way, and it's a great way to trap with, again, not a lot of noise, but it's a great way to get meat. So rat traps and stuff like that, really important to have. I have them, you know, just to make sure that I have plenty of those, okay? Now the next thing is going to be really important for those of us that wear glasses, okay? Not just having one pair of glasses, but have 3-4 different pairs of glasses in your prescription. Also have reading glasses for people that need to have reading glasses when that time comes, because some people can see great up close, some can see distance. For me, I can see up close really, really well, so I don't need my glasses. I have to actually take them off when I do these type of things, but I need my glasses for distance. Now, can I see distance? Sure, But if I really want to be able, like I can drive without my glasses, but I can't make out the signs, so I kind of need to have my glasses. So if I'm coming up on a sign, I couldn't tell you what it said for nothing if I don't have my glasses on. But I can get away with driving without my glasses if I had to. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather have my glasses, so having extra glasses is going to be really, really important. Okay, the next thing, and this is kind of, I think it's important to have, but it's not going to be the end-all be-all if you don't have it, and that's going to be toilet paper, okay? Toilet paper is a really good thing to have because it's just that comfort thing, and along with toilet paper, you know, Kleenex and stuff like that, you know, we're spoiled, we're used to having them, so if you can have them longer, now don't get me wrong, you can take old shirts and stuff like that, cut them up into strips, you got a snot rag, or something to wipe your butt with if you had to do it that way as well. But as long as you can have that normalcy, it's a nice thing to have. So I keep a lot of toilet paper on hand too. I keep a lot of Kleenex on hand, and I keep a lot of paper towels on hand. That's just me. That's what I like to do, okay? So here's another thing that I want you guys to think about, antibiotics. Antibiotics are going to be key. A great source of antibiotics is actually like fish mocks, and I've done videos on it. I've talked about it. It's a great way to get antibiotics without a prescription, and it's, you know, you can use that for humans even though it says not for human consumption. It's your choice, an individual choice again. Me personally, if it came down to it and I had a choice of dying or taking a fish antibiotic, which is the exact same thing as what they're giving human beings, I'm taking that antibiotic. That's just me. You make your own decision on that, but stocking up on antibiotics is very, very important. Next thing, along that same line, again, these are kind of more medical stuff, is over-the-counter prescription painkillers. So, you know, any kind of pain medication that you can get, any anti-inflammatory medication, that type of stuff, really, really good to have. So if you can, while you can get it, get as much of it as you can, set it aside. I mean, you can get the bottles of ibuprofen or, you know, Tylenol, acetaminophen. You can get them 250 count bottles. You know what? Nothing wrong with having a couple bottles of that. Use it as you use it normally, and just have it in your rotation. But having a couple of those extra bottles back, not a bad thing to have. Do they lose strength over time? Sure they do. Some of them do, not all of them. But you know, you can do the research on that. Definitely do your research. Make sure you know what's good to have, what stays long term better than other things. Okay, definitely do that research if you're looking to do those type of things. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about soap, shampoo, dish detergent, okay? Hygiene is going to be a huge, huge thing in a post-event, guys, okay? It's going to be really, really important to be able to keep clean, all right? And it's being clean, being able to wash up, being able to wash your hair. You're going to start, you know, it helps so that you don't get infections as much and stuff like that. And it's just going to make you feel better. It's a psychological thing too. But being clean is not a bad thing. So definitely stock up on your soap, your shampoos, your dish detergent, so you can wash your dishes and stuff like that as well. And along that same line, we're going to talk about toothpaste, dental floss, and toothbrushes. Okay. So I use dental floss every single day. I get crap caught in my teeth, and it drives me nuts when that happens. So having dental floss is a really nice thing to have. But you know, definitely having enough toothpaste. And I know you can make toothpaste, but a lot of people don't know how to do that. So if you got a nice stock up of toothpaste, absolutely not a bad thing to have. Extra toothbrushes, definitely not a bad thing to have. So it's a good thing to stock up on. Again, your teeth, if you're not taking care of your teeth, it can cause you a lot of problems in a post-event when there's not a dentist there to take care of them things, or those things anymore, okay? The next thing, guys, is honey. Honey is something that lasts forever. It's a great thing to have. It can be also used medically for burns, for helping to heal wounds, makes it go faster that way. So honey has a myriad of uses that you can have. So definitely, and when I say honey, I'm not talking about store-bought honey. I'm talking about your local beekeeper honey that hasn't been treated and stuff like that. That's the honey that you're going to want to have, okay? Next thing you're going to definitely want to have, guys, is going to be alcohol, okay? Your vodka and stuff like that can be used as a disinfectant, also as a painkiller as well if there's got to be some kind of surgery or something like that going on. to dull the senses of the patient and stuff like that. And it's a great barter item as well. So having alcohol, like grain alcohol, is another good thing to have, okay? But having alcohol is definitely going to be a good thing to have. The next thing I'm going to talk about is apple cider vinegar. A tremendous amount of uses for apple cider vinegar, and I'm not going to get into all of them, but it's definitely something you should definitely have in your preps, and be hoarding it and having a nice stock of that. Last item we're going to talk about, guys, okay? Fishing gear. Now again, we're talking, some of the things that I've talked about all go along the lines of silent hunting. Snares is another thing that you can add on, like with traps and stuff like that. Traps and snares, good thing to have if you know how to use them. Great way to hunt very silently as well. But fishing gear is, having, you don't even necessarily have to have poles, but having bobbers and fishing line and sinkers and all those type of things and fish hooks, really, really good to have. I have a tremendous amount of that stuff here that we would use in that type of a situation. Again, it's another great way to get a meat source without having to make a lot of noise in the woods, because in a post-event you're going to try to want to be as quiet as you possibly can. Alright, so there's my list of 30 different things, and actually if I add on the snares and the traps, that's 31. But, there's a list right there for you guys of things that you should be hoarding right now as preppers in preparation for SHTF, okay? So, I hope this helps. I hope this is good information. If you have any other ideas, please feel free to put them down in the comments. Remember, guys, like, comment, share the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon so you get updates. So on that note, guys, I'm going to jump off of here for now. Remember, we are all in this together. That's important to remember. Also remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really, really important that you tell the people that you love every single day how you feel. Also remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish in life, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself, okay? I hope everybody's having a great day. Kind of a sad and happy day for me here at the homestead. My little girl's in college now, so not a bad thing, but it's still sad. But I'm happy at the same time, if that makes any sense. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.